From stories across the globe to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. A very good evening to you. I'm Sharifa Tahir.
Good evening. I'm Gunaratna. We'll start off by taking a look at tonight's headlines.
All measures are in place to provide the 5,000 rupee allowance to 3 million families in connection with the new year. 15 billion rupees have been allocated for the allowance. Police request the people to follow health protective measures during the festive season. The Defence Secretary says that it is unjustifiable to conduct protests when the government has meted out justice to war hero widows. Air Force champion swimmer establishes a new Asian record.
We move on to those and other stories in detail now. Taking a look at local news first. Preliminary arrangements to provide an allowance of 5,000 rupees for Samurdhi and low-income recipient families in connection with the new year took place today in many areas. The allowance is given on the instructions of the President and the Prime Minister following a request made by governing party parliamentarians. The government has allocated more than 15 billion rupees to provide allowance to more than 3 million families. The program is implemented by the Presidential Task Force for Economic Revival and Poverty Elimination headed by Mr. Basir Rajapaksa together with Samurdhi Development Department. 7 categories out of 10 categories who were paid 5,000 rupee allowance last time have been selected as the recipient families. Accordingly, 1,061,276 Samurdhi families, 713,975 low-income families and 417,000 families who gets the elders allowance will get the 5,000 rupee allowance. 72,000 families with persons who get the disabled allowance, 39,000 families who get kidney patients allowance, 465 families who get the allowance for elders over 100 years have been qualified to get the 5,000 rupee allowance. Accordingly, 3,03,066 will get the allowance. A discussion took place today to provide the 5,000 rupee allowance to low-income recipient families in the Gaul district. 175,000 families in the Gaul district are scheduled to get the allowance through 20 divisional secretaries. 875 million rupees have been allocated to the allowance. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa participated in an alms-giving ceremony at the Kirlapana Siri Alan Mathiniaramaya today. The ceremony was organized to mark the opening of the newly constructed alms-giving hall, Kinihalgaya, Avasa Mandiriya and walking meditation garden. President Rajapaksa, who arrived in Siri Alan Mathiniarama today, first engaged in religious observances. Later, the President participated in the alms-giving ceremony and served alms to the Mahasangha. One of the objectives of this religious ceremony is to invoke blessings to Venerable Uduwe Dhammalokatera and his mother on their birthdays. The alms-giving ceremony was held under the patronage of Deputy Chief Prelate of Malwatha Chapter, Most Venerable Dimbul Kumbure Vimaladhammatera. Most Venerable Dr. Niyangoda Vijita Siritera, Deputy Chief Prelate of the Askeria Chapter, Most Venerable Vedarube Upalitera and Deputy Chief Prelate of the Amarapura, Chula Vangshika Mahanikaya, Chief Incumbent of the Siri Alan Mathiniaramaya Temple in Kirlapana, Venerable Yogiyane Sobitatera. Most Venerable Dimbul Kumbure Vimaladhammatera presented a souvenir to the President. Minister Sarath Veerasekara headed the Task Force on Economic Revival and Poverty Eradication, Basir Rajapaksa, Parliamentarian Nalin Fernando and Defence Secretary Retired General Kamal Gunaratna were also present.
2 more days are left for the Sinhala and Tamil New Year. Common places and shops in all the cities in the country have become busy. The police headquarters requested the public to follow health protective measures during the festive season. Meanwhile, the Railway Department, SLTB and private buses have implemented special transport services for the convenience of the public who are leaving for their villages. Steps have been taken to operate a sufficient number of buses for the people who are returning to Colombo after the 15th from their villages. The special operations room will be functioning 24 hours a day at the Peta Central Bus Stand until the 21st. Arrangements have been made to operate a maximum number of buses on the expressway. Additional buses will be deployed if the number of passengers increase at main bus stands. 21 additional trains will be operated. A train will be operated tomorrow and on the 17th and 18th of April from Colombo Fort to Badulla and from Badulla to Colombo Fort. The Railway Department says a train from Kalutara South to Wayangoda will be operated 7 times daily. Police have requested people and others to follow health guidelines when travelling in public transport services and visiting shops. DIG Ajit Rohanas said that drivers should follow regulations since there is a tendency for more accidents to occur during the festive season.
In the meantime, the President, in his capacity as the Defence Minister, has signed a cabinet paper to provide the widows of war heroes salaries of their husbands for lifetime. Defence Secretary General Kamal Gunaratna said that it is not necessary to conduct agitations in such a background. Defence Secretary General Kamal Gunaratna said that methodology to provide the salary for the war heroes' widows was prepared. A cabinet paper was sent to the ministry office. After that, the government was changed and a new cabinet was appointed. The earlier cabinet paper was returned and a new one was prepared and sent. The President signed the cabinet paper in his capacity as the Defence Minister. It will provide the salaries of the war heroes to the widows of them for lifetime from the date the war heroes complete 55 years. The Defence Secretary said it is not necessary to conduct agitations in such a background. He said that he informed to release about the preparations when they met him at the public day. He said the cabinet paper and its information was shown to them. The Defence Secretary further said that they held a protest near Fort Railway Station yesterday, even after explaining the situation. He added all necessary measures have been taken in this regard.
कैबिनेट पत्रिकाව මෙන්න कैबिनेट पत्रिकाවේ මාතෘකාව මෙන්න ආරක්ෂක ලේකම්වරයා මේක නිර්දේශ කළා ඉදිරිපත් කළා තියෙනවා ජනාධිපතිවරයා ආරක්ෂක මාත්‍යවරයා විදියට මෙන්න අත්සන් කළා තියෙනවා.
Prince Philip, the late husband to the UK's Queen Elizabeth II, will be laid to rest on Saturday next week in a low-key ceremony within royal standards. Meanwhile, Britain's Prime Minister Boris Johnson will not attend the funeral for Prince Philip to allow as many members of the royal family as possible to be present amid coronavirus restrictions, his office said in a statement yesterday.
Buckingham Palace has released details of the funeral of Britain's Prince Philip, Queen Elizabeth's husband, who died on Friday, aged 99. The Prince will have a ceremonial funeral on Saturday, April 17th, without any public access or public procession. It will take place at St George's Chapel at Windsor Castle and will begin with a national minute of silence. Philip's son and heir to the throne, Prince Charles, and other members of the royal family will take part in the procession on foot behind the coffin.
State Minister Janaka Kumara says that Export Agriculture Department purchases a raw kilogram of turmeric for 400 rupees from the farmers. He said that this is the highest price in history. The minister emphasized that media reports stating turmeric could not be sold yesterday were completely untrue. State Minister Janaka Kumara said that a kilogram of raw turmeric has been bought for 65 rupees and now the government is buying it for 400 rupees. He said that despite the quantity available, the government will purchase for 400 rupees, which is the highest price in history. More than 75 million rupees have been given to the farmers who grow turmeric. 400 million rupees will be spent this year to provide the subsidy for them. He said that the country would be made self-sufficient in turmeric.
Secretary to the Ministry of Wildlife and Forest Conservation, Gunaratna Vidyapathirana, says that reports stating that 62,000 acres of forest reserves have been cleared are false. The report published on a newspaper recently saying that 62,000 acres have been cleared in 15 months became a hot topic on social media and on political stages. The New Year's paper report said that during 15 months there had been 270 forest reserve clearings and 62,000 acres have been cleared. It has said that 18,500 acres last year and 43,500 acres up to the second week of March this year have been cleared. Based on that information, Pubudu Jagara of Frontline Socialist Party made a statement recently during a program. A Facebook page had also published such a news. It said that the local forest density has decreased from 29% to 16.5% during 3 years. Forest conservator Nishantha Edrisinghe said that a forest destruction of 13% should occur if Sri Lanka's forest density is to reduce from 29.7 to 16.5%. He said that if such a destruction to occur, 2,199,238 hectares should be destroyed in a year or in 3 years. If such a destruction is to occur, 2,008 acres daily in 3 years or 6,025 acres in a day in an area should be destroyed. Therefore, forest conservator Nishantha Edrisinghe said that it can never happen. The newspaper report said 43,500 acres of forest have been destroyed in first 3 months of this year. Secretary to the Ministry of Wildlife and Forest Conservation, Gunaratna Vidyapathirana, said that 14,500 acres of forest should be destroyed in a month or such a destruction to take place. He said 500 acres should be destroyed daily if such an event is to occur. He pointed out that they can never clear 500 acres daily in a secret manner when ministry officials, police, civil organizations, environmentalists, 3 armed forces, journalists and the public are vigilant. Sri Lanka Air Force swimmer Roshan Abesundara has established a new Sri Lanka and Asian record. He has set up the record by swimming from Thalaimannar to Dhanushkodi in India and returning, recording a minimum time. Air Force Airman Roshan Abesundara commenced swimming around 2 a.m. yesterday from Thalaimannar coast. He has been given full support and guidance by Air Force Commander Air Marshal Sudarshana Patirana. He has swum from Thalaimannar to Dhanushkodi and returned around 7 a.m. on the following day, which is a distance of 59.3 kilometers. He has timed 28 hours, 19 minutes and 43 seconds. It is a new Asian record. Sri Lanka Kumar Anandan in 1971 established an Asian record by completing a distance in 51 hours. Roshan Abesundara broke that record. Meanwhile, Roshan Abesundara established a new Sri Lanka record by swimming from Thalaimannar to Dhanushkodi in 10 hours and 31 minutes.
Police say that an investigation has been launched into the individuals who travelled in an unsafe manner on the expressway. Police media spokesman DIG Ajit Rohan has said that they have received information that the vehicle belongs to a person in Kandy. Visuals of several individuals in a motorcar travelling recklessly on the expressway are being published over social media. The visuals taken from behind when the group was travelling have been released over social media. Police media spokesman DIG Ajit Rohan has said it is reckless driving as well as a crime under criminal law. Police media spokesman DIG Ajit Rohan has said that they contacted the Department of Motor Vehicles about the registration number of the vehicle and found that the owner of the vehicle is a resident of Kandy. He said that an investigation has been launched into the incident.
The third sea museum of the country was vested with the public under the patronage of Minister Namal Rajapaksa yesterday. Sri Lanka Navy said that the museum, which is located on the seabed, has been created with environmentally friendly material. The new sea museum, built closer to Mathura, Nilvala beaches, is a new experience for local and foreign tourists. It has been named as Blue Bridge Island Underwater Gallery. It includes many aspects, including an environment for fish breeding and space for the development of corals. It has a length of 100 meters and a breadth of 40 meters. It can be viewed not only by the drivers but by traveling on a boat with a glass floor. The museum has been prepared using parts of discarded buses, vehicle and plane parts. Several state institutions have contributed to the project. State Minister Kanchana Wijesekara was present at the occasion.
ගහකොළ සදාසි උපාව ගැන අපි කතා කරාට අපි බොහෝ වෙලාවට අමතක කරලා තියෙනවා අපි ගංගා වලට වැව් වලට දාන අපවිත්‍ර අපජව්‍ය අවසානයේ ගහගෙන ඉන්නේ මේ මහමුදට. ඒ හින්දා මම හිතන්නේ අපි අද අදිෂ්ඨාන කරගත්ත
Minister Namal Rajapaksa said that although people speak about trees and animals, they've forgotten that garbage thrown into rivers and canals end up in the sea. Therefore, he said that the people should be determined to protect the environment in the sea surface as well as the seabed.
The prize giving of the International Art Exhibition, which was held with the aim of developing creative abilities of the children living at childcare homes, took place recently in Colombo. Minister Professor G.L. Piris attended the function as the chief guest. Creations of the 60 children have been received under various age categories during the second round. The organisers has taken steps to provide those 60 children with savings accounts, cash prizes, hotel visits, food and drinks, and to watch a film. The guardians of the children were present on the occasion and computers were handed over to the relevant childcare homes.
What this event,
The arts competition
in
has
its
been
own way, convincingly demonstrates is the inherent strength, the range and the diversity of the bilateral relationship between Sri Lanka and India. I have made the comment to High Commissioner Sagle as well as to several of his predecessors that what I find of the greatest intrinsic value in the relationship between our two countries is the people-to-people dimension of that relation. The relations between New Delhi and Colombo are no doubt short, but they are very meaningfully and substantively reinforced by the close links that have been nurtured and developed over the years between the communities of the two countries. This has found expression in a variety of fields. I remember during the government of President Maithripala Siriwardena, there was an exposition of Buddha relics in our country. On that occasion, more than 3 million people in our country had the opportunity of venerating the sacred relics of the Buddha. The demand was so great that as foreign minister of this country, I had to make a formal request to India at the request of His Excellency President Mahinda Rajapaksa for an extension of the period during which the relics would be made available to us for the purpose of exposition to the public of Sri Lanka. Government of India readily acceded to that request, and that is still spoken of with profound appreciation and gratitude by the people who were able to take advantage of this opportunity.
Because that's what we are in this region, the relationship between India and Sri Lanka. But this is what we have always been, motivated to stand with each other, motivated to walk hand in hand. And that is the reason why we always have believed in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole world is one family. And if anything can prove it in practice, in implementation, to our eyes, it is this event. Because the purpose of this event is not the event itself. The purpose is obviously to recognize the creativity of our future, of the young kids that are with us today. The message of Buddha, the light of Buddha, yes, indeed, it came from India, and that continues to be an organic link between our two countries, our two peoples. At the same time, there are new dimensions which are being added. The event like today is another dimension. When the people voluntarily come together, as governments, we didn't need to tell Sika to do this. They had no real necessity in that sense to do this. Why did they do this? Because they realized that children need to be looked after. It doesn't matter they are Sri Lankan children or Indian children or whichever children. So this concern about each other's well-being is what defines us as South Asians, as Sri Lankans, as Indians. And this is what makes me extremely proud as the High Commissioner of India as I stand here, literally in awe of your effort that you have put together.
The arts competition has been organized by Colombo Expats Cultural Association. Several private organizations and the Ministry of Education, state institutions and the Indian High Commission in Sri Lanka have sponsored the event.
Director of the Maharagama Apeksha Hospital, Dr. Vasantha Desanaka, passed away today. The funeral is scheduled to be held tomorrow at 4 p.m. at Pannipitiya General Cemetery. Dr. Vasantha Desanaka has passed away while undergoing treatment for an illness at Sri Jayawardhanapura Hospital. He was 58 years at the time of his demise. Dr. Desanaka was the director of the Apeksha Hospital for a long period of time and rendered an immense service for the development of the hospital. He gave leadership to purchase PET scan machine for the hospital. The emotional statement made by Dr. Vasantha Desanaka, who attended Sihinayaka Rare program of the Rupavahini Corporation, drew the attention of everyone.
ප්‍රධානම ප්‍රධාන බලාපොරොත්තුව අපේ රෝහලේ මයිනස් ස්ටාෆ් නැත්නම් සෞඛ්‍ය කාර්යසහායකයන් ලොකු සේවයක් කරනවා මේ රෝහල වෙනුවෙන්. ඒ ඇයට ඇත්තටම හොඳම ප්‍රතිඵල ගන්න ළමයාට ශිෂ්‍යත්වයක් ඇති කරන්න අවශ්‍යතාවයක් තියෙනවා. රුපියල් ලක්ෂ 5ක් වගේ මුදලක් දෙන්න. ඒක මම ඇති කරනවා. මම කැමති කවදා හරි මගේ පුටුවට ඒ සුළු සේවකෙක් ගෙනත්තන් සෞඛ්‍ය කාර්යසහායකයෙක් ළමෙක් වෙනවනම් වැඩියෙන්ම සතුටු වෙන්නේ මම. ඉදාට මම ජීවිතේ නැතර නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම වුණත් මට සතුටුයි.
වෛද්‍යවරු කියන්නේ දෙවිවරු කියලා ඔහු දැන් ඔප්පු කොට හමාරයි. අපේ ප්‍රාර්ථනාවත් ඒකයි. ඔබ අපට දෙවිවරේ.
New Year festivals of 6 preschools in the southern province of the Carlton Preschool Group were held on Friday and Saturday. The festivals were held in Mathara, Ranna, Beliatta, Tangol, Walasmulla and Hambantota areas with the participation of Mrs. Shiranti Rajapaksa. The festivals had been organized giving priority for health protective measures. 300 children took part in the festivals, which were held without invitees. A celebration has been organized in connection with the birthday of Minister Namal Rajapaksa at the festival held in Tangol.
The official screening of Living on the Edge, the sports music video by Mario Ananda, was held at the National Film Corporation premises recently. The music video, titled Living on the Edge, production of Mario Ananda, is a unique concept and a purpose to encourage sports among children and to adopt sports as a lifestyle and to prevent them from addictive consumption of drugs, alcohol and smoking. The song, produced in 3 languages, reveals the ultimate purpose of inspiring the next generation to become healthy citizens, united in peace and reconciliation, and move forward as one nation without discrimination and differences. The director of the production is Dhananjali Ananda. Many veteran sports personalities, artists, officials from state sports agencies, representatives from organizations against drug abuse, authorities for children with special needs were present in this occasion.
Sundara Nuwareliya Salalihini Vasantha will be held until the 30th of this month. It has been organised by the Nuwareliya Municipal Council with the national television as the media sponsor. This has been organised by the Nuwareliya Municipal Council with the media sponsorship of Rupavahini Corporation. The public can watch flower exhibitions, mountain bicycle races, horse riding, 4x4 mud challenge within the next few days. That's all the news for today. Join us again at the same time tomorrow. Good night.
Have a pleasant night.